every retirement listing in Western Washington shows you the same three items. It's going to go over the price, of course, the square footage, and it's going to have this one photo that's unbelievable of the water taken on one of the few days that it's actually not raining. That's it. That's their pitch. Here's what the listing conveniently forgets to mention. Your property tax bill is designed to climb up every year. Your new life might run actually on a ferry schedule, and it's a 50-year-old boat's ferry schedule. And an insurance company you've never even spoken to has already scored your new dream property for a wildfire risk. I'm Lianne Hall. I sell real estate across Gig Harbor, Port Orchard, all of Pierce County and Kitsap County, and I work with people retiring and relocating to Washington State every single week. The next 16 minutes are the three things the listings are definitely skipping for you. Some of them are the property tax trajectory, ferry dependency, wildfire buffer math, and exactly how to check each one of these before you write up that offer. Don't do it after, that's when it becomes extremely expensive. Let's get going. All right, first let me give you a setup here because I'm not here to talk you out of moving to Washington. It's actually quite the opposite. I love it here and I love welcoming new people to the area. But I want to go over that this listing picture you're looking at, it's just a snapshot. Retirement is a timeline, so nobody frames the timeline. It doesn't really photograph well in these Zillow shots. The snapshot is what the house costs maybe in the middle of July. The timeline that I'm about to give you is what it costs at year 3, year 7, year 15. And when you're on a fixed income and surprises stop being cute a while ago, well, this is why this information is important. And let's be honest, why people fight to retire here, because honestly, the listings typically undersell that too. So imagine this, you wake up and it's 62 degrees in August. Nobody is checking an air quality app. You got low tide at your feet before your coffee's even done. And you can go golfing at Chambers Bay in January, actually truly in January. You've got no state income tax on your pension, none on your Social Security, and none on your 401k withdrawals. You will scrape ice off of a windshield approximately, never. People come here for a week and visit all the time. They go back home and they cannot get Washington off their mind. They are stuck on, I think this is really where I want to move. And honestly, that's a favorite part of my job is this is why people love Washington. They get that one glimpse and they are ready to go. No, this isn't a warning video. This is a make sure you buy the version that works in year 10 video. So 3 things, starting with the one that ambushes all of my California buyers. If you're relocating to Washington State from California, I need you to hear this part twice, maybe 3 times. And you know what? You might want to grab your spouse to hear it too. California has Prop 13, right? Your assessed value locks in near what you paid for and it creeps up to about 2% a year. You could buy a house in 1994 and still be paying taxes like it's 1994. I find that to be a very adorable system, but guess what? It does not exist here in Washington. Washington assesses your home at 100% of true market value, and we update this every single year. The county does not care here what you paid for it. That's not me trying to be cynical with you. It's actually our statute. Your neighborhood appreciates? Well, your assessment follows it right up that hill. Congratulations on your equity, but you get a bill with it. So when a listing shows your last year's tax number, that is definitely not a promise. That's not what it's going to be long term. It's truly just a screenshot of this moment. Now, before everybody starts spiraling here, there are limits on how fast the taxing districts can grow their regular collections. So it's not a free-for-all out here, but it's voter-approved levies like school, fire, parks. They stack up right on top. And around here, those truly do pass most of the time. We're very civic-minded, and it shows up in these bills. Here's the part almost nobody moving to Washington State knows about. And honestly, it's the reason this section was put in here, and frankly, it's also the reason that maybe some of you should shop in different countries. Washington has one of the most generous senior property tax exemption programs in all of the country. So write this down right now. It's our RCW 84.36.381. You're going to want to look extremely smart at that assessor's office. So if you are 61 or older, you own and occupy your home, your combined disposable income lands under the county's thresholds, you do that and your tax bill is going to completely change materially. The thresholds are set county by county. So here's how Pierce County for 2026 looks. Income at or under about 46,000, your assessed value gets cut by 60%. 60. At under 55,000, you're 55% off. At or under 64,000, your assessed value gets frozen where it stands. It stops climbing. Now, Kitsap County runs slightly different numbers, but they have that same 3-tier system. So it's frozen. Your appreciation train, of course, keeps running, but guess what? That tax bill gets cut off at that train station. Income too high for that exemption? Well, there's a deferral program. The state pays the tax. It occurs around 5% interest, and it settles up when the home sells. So it's kind of a lien, so it's definitely not for everyone, but house rich and income moderate, that's a tool, definitely not a last resort, but one catch, and I am saying it out loud so you don't learn it the hard way. Combined disposable income has a specific legal definition and it counts most retired income. So don't guess. Make sure you're running your actual numbers with the county assessor before you set your search area. Okay, so I'm going to give you a little bit of homework. It's 3 steps. So number 1, before you put an offer on anything, make sure you pull up the parcel on the county's assessor website and look at 5 years of assessed value history. Not 1, 5. That's the trajectory of where that property is going to go. Chore number 2, check what levies are pending or maybe freshly passed in a specific district. 2 towns over can be a completely different tax life than what you're looking at. And number 3, figure out whether you qualify for this senior exemption, because that answer can change what county you should be even shopping in. I want you to picture this. 2 nearly identical houses. One sits in a district with 3 levies that are queued up and your income lands just over the threshold. And then on the other side, it sits where you qualify for the freeze. So same list price, but you're wildly different in your retirement. Quick pause here, guys. I have a relocation guide. It is going to offer all of this information in it. I go through Pierce County, Kitsap County, anything Western Washington. So feel free to send me a DM. I will send you all of the information I have and what bracket you might fall in for each county. You can either DM me or look for that link in my bio. So let's go back to the second thing that the listings are skipping here. It's the ferry. So Western Washington real estate loves the phrase easy ferry access. Now, the word easy is definitely carrying that entire sentence on its back. Washington runs the largest ferry system in the country. It's truly iconic. Tourists plan entire trips around this. Parts of the fleet, though, are also older than some of the people looking to retire here. And that is definitely not me making a joke. One of these boats is over probably 50-something years old. So quick reality check, because this channel likes to stay extremely accurate. The state restored full domestic service in the summer of 2025. 21 vessels, 18 in the water at a time. Real progress for sure. Credit is due where credit is due. And then this last January, there's 3 boats. They're all serving Seattle, and guess what? They are going down for repairs, and guess what? All at the same time. So the legislator has put more than $1 billion towards new vessels. Wonderful, right? Boats take years to build, and the fleet's age does not care about your closing date. Here's the math that nobody does before they buy. If the property that you're in love with is on Vashon Island, Anderson Island, or of a stretch of Kitsap County where that practical route to Seattle is going through the Southworth ferry. Let's say your cardiologist is on the boat schedule now. So no, nobody puts this in the listing, and no, you're not fighting a commute to get to work, but you are trying to get to maybe your grandkids' recital, or maybe your specialist appointment, or you might even have that 6 a.m. flight at a SeaTac. That's the schedule that you're running on here, and definitely the ferry is going to impact that. So when a boat comes out of service here, and with a fleet of this age, that's when, not even an if, the schedule that you toured that house on is not the schedule you live with week to week. Am I telling you don't buy on a ferry route? No, I'm not telling you that at all, because some of the best retirement living in our state is actually ferry serviced. And I have clients who would not trade it for anything, but passenger only fast ferries out of Kitsap have added some real options. So I want you to look at that as well. But you buy it with your eyes open, and you buy it with it priced correctly for these reasons. So I'm going to give you a bit of homework again. What I want you to do is I want you to map out where this house is that you're looking. I want you to find the schedule, the ferry boat schedule here, and I want you to put where your doctors are. So ferry times for that. Maybe where your grandkids or kids live, time for that. SeaTac Airport, time for that. And then what I want you to do is like, okay, you're looking at it, I got multiple options. Then what I want you to do is cut one of those ferries completely out. So then when you're looking at it and you're like, wait a minute, now I can't get to the doctor if I had it at 1 o'clock. So now I want you to map how to drive around. How long does that take? Or can I wait till the next ferry to make this work? This is what I want you to have for a reality to go, is this house working on for you right now, or is it just working as a really beautiful listing? So here's the math nobody does. The scenery of a moat, it's the strongest standalone segment in the video. And if you want that saltwater without the sailing schedule, this is exactly why so many people retiring in Western Washington land up here right next to me in Gig Harbor. Gig Harbor here, we've got bridge access. You cross the Narrows Bridge, you pay the toll, which I don't like, but hey, it's part of it, and you budget for it. So it's the real line then. You're in Tacoma once you go over that Narrows Bridge. We don't have a schedule. There's no holding lane, and there's no app anxiety. You get the saltwater view at breakfast, you got your cardiology appointment at 11, and you're home by 1. The only thing you have to look at here is the listing here says water, but is it really water or is it a moat? All right, guys, I am going to go into number 3, the one that most people say this does not apply to Western Washington. Let's talk about Wildfire. I know you're saying I'm moving here for the rain. I love it. The insurance industry is not underwriting your umbrella. It's underwriting your parcel number. Insurance companies now use third-party wildfire risk scores. Let me explain how this works. So what they do is they've got these satellite images that they're looking at. They're going to look over your vegetation data that's on there. They're going to look at the slope of the property. They're going to look at how much space you have in between items. And then they're also going to look at where the distance is to the fire response centers. So then you're scored down to the individual property. So before you've ever called an agent, the home you're falling in love with already has this number that's set to it. And that number, it's got teeth in it. So this is statewide. Homeowner policy non-renewals and cancellations have roughly doubled since 2021 here, from under $12,000 a year to over $24,000. If an insurer decides to non-renew you, they owe you 60-day notice, and they do have to give you a reason, but that's it. So that's the protection. And to me, do you feel protected by that? So now I'm going to translate that to what most of my retirees actually fall for out here. 5 treed acres across Port Orchard, that cabin feel place backing up to some timber, the long private driveway with no hydration inside, but hey, neighbors can't see you. It's gorgeous, all of this, right? Also, every single one of these features is a line item in that wildfire risk model. That's the buffer math. How much cleared? How much space is between your structure and the trees? Whether the driveway can fit actually a fire engine into it, and where the nearest staffed station actually is. The listing photographs the forest as a feature. I'm not sure it's a feature, so make sure to double check these items here, because insurance can be massively expensive here. So you're thinking here, Lianne, what do I do with this information? Well, there's 3 things you can do. So none of them are panic moments. Number 1, you're going to get a real bindable insurance quote during your inspection period. Make sure to do that during the inspection period. Don't get a ballpark from a call center. I want an actual quote on that actual parcel before your contingencies even expire. Ugly quote? Well, if you're getting an ugly quote back, that's negotiating information. It's not automatically a deal breaker. I might go back and maybe renegotiate the price of the home. Number 2 here that you can do for yourself is mitigation, of course. So Washington now has this wildlife prepared home designation. It's a third-party verified checklist that measurably cuts down the risk. The state is now building an actual wildfire hazard map too as we speak, so you can kind of look it up online. This landscape's totally moving, and it's moving towards rewarding buyers who did their homework before they bought and found this out later. And number 3, if the buffer math on raw acreage makes your stomach hurt, well, there is a middle path. So newer construction in an established neighborhood, that's where I would go if that's kind of bugging you there. So they have more fire resistant materials that they're using. They have to put different hydrants now by protocol, and they have staff stations minutes away from new build. You still get that Pacific Northwest feeling, but you're going to skip the risk of this score for sure. I move clients into that option constantly. Nobody has ever ruined a retirement by choosing the house that the insurance company also likes as well. All right, guys, one more thing, and I am going to be completely blunt because if you haven't gotten to know me from the videos, that is who I am. Hopefully you'll learn to love that about me. Everything I just handed you is definitely public knowledge. You could DIY all of this information, but some of you, maybe you have 6 tabs running right now, but the things that are not on the assessor's website, the things that you're not going to know about are which counties here have levies that are already queued up for the next ballot, or what parcels in this area are having underwriters flinch before that sale sign even hits the yard. And honestly, whether that motivated seller is actually motivated or are they just priced wrong? So this is not stuff that you just find on a database. This is what happens and what you get to know by just living here and doing this every single week. I'm sure you have a wonderful agent from back home telling you the places to look, but what she can't tell you is which stretch of Highway 302 turns into a parking lot at 4 p.m. You gotta hire somebody local here, preferably me, of course. I'm here to help, but at minimum, make sure you find somebody who is local to the area that you're looking at. So here's your list. I want you to screenshot this or grab your pencil. I'll wait for you for a sec. Before you write an offer on a retirement property in Western Washington, pull 5 years, remember, of the assessed value history on that parcel. Trajectory, remember, not a snapshot. So check out your county's senior property tax exemption thresholds in that area. 61 and up, income-based, county by county. And remember, it can change your entire search area by that. Then I want you to run your real life scenario against that ferry if you're checking for that. Run it twice, not with 1 boat or 2 boats or 3 boats. Do it if it's all shut down. Then I want you to get a bindable insurance quote inside your inspection period. Make sure you don't wait till it's over during that period, and ask what the wildfire risk score is directly on that parcel. Price the toll, get to know the levy history, if there's buffers, because the listing is already priced the view in, but they're not pricing in maybe your insurance. And I definitely want to make sure to bring this back. None of these are a reason not to move here. I live here, so what I'm trying to say is retiring in Western Washington is one of the smartest financial moves on the West Coast. No state income tax, one of the strongest senior exemption programs in the country, and communities built for exactly this chapter in your life. I'm just trying to tell you, those buyers that are following my checklist, there will be rewards to come from that. So remember at the beginning, I said this is not a snapshot, it's a timeline. There's a reason that I set my buyers up for that. If you're looking to relocate here to Western Washington and you want the whole picture from someone, the tax math, the ferry, the insurance, any of those type of things, or what your budget is going to look like in Gig Harbor, Port Orchard, or across Pierce County or Kitsap, grab my relocation guide. I have most of that in there. And again, I am available for a phone call or just DM me, send me an email. I'm more than happy to answer your questions as they start to come up and you dig into this a bit. So I'm one of those, I have no bots. I don't have someone answering any of my comments. It's coming from me. So if you write a comment and you have something, it's going to be that answers back, or I'll reach out back to you and we can jump on a call together. If you liked this information and you found it useful, hit that like and subscribe button. The next video that I'm about to show you, many people are probably going to fight me on, but it's going to be the next 5 places that people are moving to Western Washington to retire in. I know there's going to be lots of opinions, and guess what? Some of them might be wrong after you watch that video. I'm Lianne Hall here with Paramount Real Estate Group. I love looking at the full timeline, not the snapshot. Thanks again for hanging with me today. I look forward to hearing your comments, your opinions, and all that goes with Western Washington.